Officials from Puntland in Ethiopia met Wednesday in Addis Ababa to discuss trade relations. The Ethiopian delegation was led by the State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Mesganu Arga. Puntland was led by its Finance Minister, Mohammed Farah Mohammed. The meeting came less than a week after the Somali state announced it would operate as an independent state. Puntland's complaint is that new constitutional amendments ratified by the Somali National Assembly last Friday were not acceptable. But perhaps the more serious dispute hanging over the consultation is between Addis Ababa and Mogadishu. Ethiopia's somewhat vague agreement to recognize Somaliland in exchange for port facilities has led to a crisis in relations between the neighbors. Addis Ababa hosting Puntland, as the state is acting independently, would appear to undermine the Somali federal government again. Just 2 years ago, Ethiopia appeared to be one of Somalia's most important allies. Ethiopian troops were included among African Union peacekeepers, while others were afforded to the Somali government in a separate capacity. Mogadishu had stayed out of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's business when he fought a civil war in the nation's Tigray province. Abiy was sanctioned by the U.S. and criticized heavily by the United Nations at the time. Addis Ababa appeared to be a strong partner in bringing Somalia into the East African community. But now Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud is spurning meetings with Abiy, and he has been lining up other nations, including Egypt and Turkey, to threaten Ethiopia militarily. Where is this relationship headed? It seems unlikely that conflict would break out between the two sides. Somalia's army is busy trying to eradicate the Al-Shabaab terror movement. Ethiopia's forces are still recovering from the Tigray War and face security challenges in various locations, including with the Al-Shabaab in its easternmost province. Somalia is backed up by Africa's largest army in Egypt, a potent military in Turkey, and potentially from Eritrea, which won a long battle for independence from Ethiopia 2 decades ago. It is hard to imagine either side anxious for a fight, but it will be hard for Somalia's government to ignore such provocative gestures. Mogadishu is likely to reach out to Washington, Riyadh, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, and Brussels, the seat of the European Union, for diplomatic allies. Even Djibouti will likely rally around Somalia, as it would appear that Addis Ababa could move much of its sea imports just south to Somaliland. Will diplomatic pressure move Abiy? He didn't alter his actions in Tigray when pressure came, but that was an internal matter, and it was awkward for international partners to push too hard. But this situation affects the whole region, one that has been unstable recently. Civil war still rages in Sudan. The Al-Shabaab threatens Somalia, Ethiopia, and Kenya. Conflict between Addis and Mogadishu could ignite turmoil in the Somali province of Ethiopia. 20 million mostly ethnic Somalis reside there. If their loyalties split, it could make for a prolonged and devastating conflict. The international community needs to focus mediation efforts in the region immediately. The African Union, United Nations, and large security and economic partners like the US, EU, the Gulf states, and others should throw their full weight behind mediation efforts. This may call for choosing sides. It is a choice that could reverberate through the Horn of Africa for decades. ADN TV will continue to report on political developments across Africa.